So you came here because you're interested in learning a little bit more about osteoporosis and what you can do to be sure you are not one of two women or one of every 3 or 4 men who gets a fragility fracture during your lifetime. The book, Your Bones, provides every possible thing that you need to know about this. Here I'm going to try to give you a little bit more information about a couple of factors that are really crucial and some facts that may surprise you. One that certainly surprised me when I began looking into this was that the standard American diet actually promotes bone loss. And it does this because it is a very high protein diet. I was shocked when I saw how much protein typically we consume. It's somewhere between 70 and 85 or 90 grams of protein a day for people in their 30s to like 60s. Then it drops down to, say, 60 to about 80 grams of protein a day in our 70s. This is still much higher than we need, and having more protein than we need makes our body chemistry more acidic. And when you have an acid body chemistry, that makes you tend to lose bone because it's more inflammatory. So another reason it's more inflammatory is a lot of the food we eat is very high in omega-6 fatty acids. Meats, animal products that are raised, grown with grains are typically high in omega-6 fatty acids. So they tend to be, which are more pro-inflammatory. What you want are more omega-3 fatty acids, such as are found in cold-water fish. Or in animals that are fed grass. So if you're going to eat beef, try to get grass-fed beef, which is also going to have a really helpful compound in it called conjugated linolenic acid, which is actually quite protective and will help you be less inflammatory. It will help protect you against cardiovascular disease, too, as well as helping to prevent osteoporosis. So what do you want in a bone-building diet? I go into this in a lot of detail in the book. Here I just have a few moments to give you a few pointers. The main things are you want to eat organic food. You want to eat mostly vegetables. And and you want to eat real food. Real food is the stuff that you find around the perimeter of the grocery store in the refrigerator section because it's not a Twinkie and it's not going to be lasting for 50 years on the shelf, okay? You want real food with a lot of active phytonutrients in it and a lot of minerals and vitamins, not food that's loaded with preservatives and additives and false colors and flavors and refined sugars and refined everything. You wouldn't believe what they do in food science to concoct the stuff that they sell us as food. It's sort of semi-food. So don't eat that. It's not going to serve your bones or the rest of your body well. It's better to choose organic when you can because the food that is grown conventionally with pesticides doesn't have as much minerals in it as the organic food. There have been a bunch of studies on this. I discuss them all in the book. Nor does it have the same amount of phytonutrients in it. Foods create these really helpful protective phytonutrient chemicals as self-defense mechanisms to protect them against pests. But when they're using pesticides to grow the foods don't need to create those, and so they don't. They create a lot less of them. They're unnecessary. And the plants grow a lot bigger and faster, but they're not as dense in nutrients. So you want the nutrient-dense foods. You get a lot more bang for your calorie buck that way as well. You may be wondering why I'm so passionate about bone health. I lost my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my aunt, and my mother to osteoporosis-related fractures. Within a year, they all had hip fractures. They all died within less than a year of having them. I miss my mother very much. If I had known what I know now, she wouldn't have had that fracture. And it's too late for me to help her, but I can help you. And I also have held myself. I will be the first woman in all the women in my family that I know about, as far back as I know about, who will not die an osteoporotic-related death. I was doing what I thought was everything right, eating a healthy diet, taking some calcium, probably the wrong kind of calcium, but I didn't know that then. I was exercising, and I just thought I was doing everything I possibly could for my bone health. And then when I was in my early 40s, I was tested, and it was shown that I already had osteopenia, which is when your bones are thinning a lot. and it's just the prelude to osteoporosis. So I already had a really good case of osteopenia, and this was even before menopause. When menopause hits and your hormone levels drop, you really start to lose bone. So I knew that if I didn't do something, I was going to have frank osteopenia by the time I was 60. And I wasn't willing to settle for that. I wished to be around for my grandchildren. So we started looking into it. I'm fortunate in that I'm married to a really terrific doctor whose name is Joe Pizzorno. He's a naturopathic doctor and the founder of a medical school out in Seattle called Bastyr University. He was aware of a bunch of cutting-edge tests at the time that looked for genetic issues in bone health. And I discussed these also in the book. We ran the panel on me, and it turned out that I have a vitamin D receptor that doesn't work very well. So I need a lot more vitamin D than the average person. When we discovered this, the recommendations for vitamin D were still about 400 units a day. That was the upper level for what people were supposed to be taking. Now most doctors are recommending somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 units of vitamin D a day, especially for people who live in the northern latitudes where we don't get as much sunshine, because that promotes vitamin D formation in the skin. So I was living in Seattle where the sun rarely, if ever, shines, and it turned out that I need 10,000 units of vitamin D every day because my vitamin D receptors are so poor at actually latching on to vitamin D. If you don't have vitamin D, you don't absorb calcium well. If you don't absorb calcium well, you can't build bone. So that was the answer to my bone loss riddle. I don't know what your answer will be. There's many, many causes, many risks, many causes, which I try to outline in the book as to why someone could be losing bone. And I promise you'll be able to figure out what yours is, and you'll be able to do something about it, and you will have strong, healthy bones for the rest of your life. The nice people who are filming this have told me that will be more information below this video as to how to order the book. I hope you will, and I hope it will be a really big help to you.